Welcome back to the Garza Gaming Channel. Today we're going to talk about the new arena and my thoughts on it, right? Now, since it came out, I've been getting a truckload of questions about the new arena. And the biggest question obviously is, what do I think? What are my thoughts on the new arena, right? Now, I had a few initial thoughts that I shared on my initial stream that when we tested the new arena live as soon as it went into effect. But I wanted to actually play it for a couple weeks to really get a good feel for it so I can make an intelligent decision on my feelings on what I feel is good, what I feel is bad, and what I feel needs to be changed, or if I feel it needs to be scrapped altogether and bring back the old arena, right? Now, in this video, we're going to go over what changes were made, were the bigger changes that were made, right? And my thoughts on it. So without any further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so first let me begin with the graphics, right? The graphics are outstanding. You can definitely tell that they did something. I don't know if they're using a new engine or anything, but the graphics look really, really good, especially on my 1440 monitor, right? Now, another thing that I like is how they lowered the walls to make it easier to look over, and they cut the pillars in half, making it very easy to look and see what's going on around you, right? Your sight is blocked less than it was before, making it harder for other enemies, gods, to hide behind those pillars, right, and try to jump out and gank you. Now, as far as the big demon that spawns in the middle of the arena, right, that gives you the big area buff. Now, this buff is actually very well thought of. It's a passive type buff that gives you a high regeneration and CC immunity, right? I think that the Smite did a very, very good job in implementing this boss fight, in the middle of arena. It's not too intrusive where it takes away from the arena. And if a team gets the actual buff, it doesn't make the team overpowered where it's just a one-sided fight, right? The fact that they made that buff a passive type buff where you get regeneration and CC immunity, I think was a very, very smart idea. And adds a little bit of spice to arena. And then finally, we get to the new addition to each arena match, right? And that's that bonus round that comes at the end of each match, where each team are pretty much put head to head in front of each other for just last minute brawl. I think that this addition to the game needs to be taken out, to tell you the truth. I really dislike this bonus arena addition. I think it brings no value to the actual game itself, and I think it's pretty much just a waste of time, because even if you win this battle royale at the very end, it doesn't do nothing for you. You still end up losing the game, right? Now, whether you get a few more bonus points in way of favor or experience by winning this bonus round, I don't know, but I can tell you that it's more of a hindrance. It's more of a pain in the butt than anything. It's just a waste of time, in my opinion. So in wrapping up this video, let's go with the pros and cons, right? The pros is that the graphics look outstanding. They did a really good job in beefing up the graphics, I believe, of Arena, right? And the having the pillars cut in half and the walls lower really gives Arena a more spacious feel, right? Obviously, the map is still the same size, but for some reason, it just feels more spacious. And it makes it a little bit harder for people to hide behind pillars and try to gank you, right? So I really like that. The graphics and the new, chop down walls and pillars. Now, the new big demon that spawns in the middle of Arena, I think that's a pretty cool addition to Arena. It doesn't take away from the game. I mean, realistically, you can pretty much ignore them if you wanted to. And the fact that if one team gets that buff, it doesn't automatically become, a super buff that makes that team unkillable. The fact that they made that buff a passive type effect where you can just get high regen and CC immunity, I think was a very, very smart call. Now, for some reason, if they would have made it where a team gets that buff and they get, high crit, high attack power, or something crazy like that, I think that I wouldn't have liked that at all, and I think would have made it way too overpowering. But the fact that they made it a passive type effect, I think was brilliant, and in the way that they implemented this. Now, those are those I think are the all our pros, right? We like the graphics, we like the way they chop down the walls and the pillars, and the demon in the middle of the thing, the added buff, I think adds a little bit of spice to it. Now, the only con I have, actually, I have two cons to tell you the truth. The first con is when a team gets that buff from that big demon, right? I would like to see, over your nameplates, the team that has it, maybe have your either pulse the nameplates or put a yellow border around it. Now, obviously, if you get the buff, you're going to know initially because your guy turns gold, right? But sometimes for that split second, it had me questioning, do I have the buff? Do I not have the buff? Because especially if you already had like the red buff or the blue buff or what have you, it made it very difficult initially to see if you had the buff or not. Because sometimes, you get to that last hit, it looks like you're going to get it, and then they snake it from you, right? Now, after about 3 or 4 seconds, it becomes obvious who has the buff or not. But just the save a little bit of confusion and time. I think if they added that little addition, it I think would be really good. It's nothing really big. It's nitpicky, but I think that's one of my thoughts on that. I would love to see that addition of just highlighting the nameplates, right? Now, the only big con that I see out of this new arena, the biggest thing that I would love to see just taken out of the game is that bonus round, dude. That bonus round is just garbage. I mean, yeah, okay, I give them credit for trying to do something new, but nobody asked for that, dude. I know in the initial stream they're saying, "Oh, everybody's asking." Nobody's asking for that, dude. Not in arena. No, I have not met one person that actually plays arena as their main mode that likes that bonus round. And that bonus round is a waste of time and it's just silly. So, I mean, I think that Smite really hit it out of the park with this new arena, right? Like I said, all the additions that they did have been wonderful. The only thing that I would change is take out that freaking bonus round, man. Other than that, I think that you guys have a winner on your hand. Now, is it perfect? Of course not. But it is a nice foundation for Smite to start building on, right? To make Arena more fun. Because I tell you what, man, Season 10, in my personal opinion, has killed Arena. You can tell by the numbers, people streaming and the numbers on Steam. Sometimes Smite's not even in the top 100 of games played. And this had pretty much just snowballed and just went off a cliff after Season 10 began. I myself don't play Smite as much as I used to before Season 10 because for some all the nerfs that they put into and all the changes that they did for the most part just made the game not as fun. You know what I'm saying? But with this new addition of the new arena, that did help to make the game a little bit more enjoyable, and it had me start to want to play it a little bit more. Now, hopefully, they continue to add new things to Arena because, as y'all know, man, Arena has been like the redheaded stepchild of Smite for the longest time. In fact, I think we are the only Smite Arena channel in the world. We're definitely the biggest Smite Arena in the world. Don't believe me? Google Smite Arena and see how many of my videos come up, right? So, I mean, the fact that the arena is actually getting love, I really like that. Are we there yet? No, we're not there yet, man. We could still, I think, spice arena up a little bit more. But hey, man, I'm just happy to see that they're actually beginning to try to beef up arena for us. But anyway, that concludes our video. Hey, man, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe and turn on notifications. And hey, and if you want to play with our Reapers live, don't forget we stream every Tuesday at 11:30 Eastern Standard Time on our Twitch channel. Again, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. I'm Darkgarza, your OG on GC. See you next time.